And this word here is cladograms. They're first cousins to us. This is a family tree. And a cladogram will look a lot like that, but it goes in the other direction. This is like you at the bottom, and who your mom and dad are, and who your grandparents are, and who your great-parents, and you go back in time and just see how far back it goes. I'm not into family trees. My brother and my sister are. They tracked us back to Germany. But I do know that both of our grandfathers on my mama's side fought in the Civil War. And both were wounded. Both were Southerners. And one of them even was captured at the Battle of Seven Pines and escaped to fight again. So, but I thought my brother, since we have truth, then we could become, and he is a member of the Sons of the Confederacy, which is not a hate group, it's just they just like the history of the war. I just don't go that way because my time spent here, but I do know he's done quite a bit of research, and even went across the ocean and see where we came from over there. Because my people came over here to work in the mills. The Tefts were mechanics, you might say. We were not homeowners or princes, or we're just workers. And matter of fact, I am the first Teft to get a college degree, and now my two sons are the second Tefts to get degrees. No other member I know of had a degree of any kind, so we're moving forward. Before we start, I want you to draw this. Just make a quick sketch of it. Be sure it's accurate. I'm going to tell you a story. And you know, yeah. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do. Back your paper. So you're going to label who these people are. See if you can follow my story. I do want to do one thing that when I'm thinking about it. Kind of like a border around so you can see where it stops. Now, reading these things, I found out are not the easiest thing to do. I want to see if you can take my story, put it on this family tree. Any of these people could have made this tree. It don't start with somebody. It's just how the family branched. So I want to click it now. Y'all done copying? So you got, circle and square, circle, square, circle, square, circle, circle. I don't care that it's black. I want to be able to stand out. Okay? And there's my story. And I went A, B, C, D, E, F, G, just so I got some type of a pattern of how I named these people. Any black circle is a male. Square yellows are females. I try to make my names become sexist so that tell by the name of the boy or girl.
That's not from male. That's female. That's sick.
Dots are males, right?
The dots are males.
Yeah.
The squares are females.
Dots are males.
All the dots are males. The squares are females. Back it up to show you on this one who's who. Are y'all through looking at the letters? Anyone still working? If I flip this thing over, would it have still made sense? If I flipped it over so that this is what I'm going to do it.
Almost.
It still does. If these two children came from these two parents.
No, because the second generation, there's 3 children.
Right. I said the two black dots at the, when you flipped it, the two black dots at the top now are the 2 children that came from this set of parents. And those are all the siblings, the 2 in the middle, and then the 2 parents are at the bottom now.
Oh, I thought he meant to start from the beginning with the 2.
No, I mean to actually turn the tree over.
Yeah, sure. If you're starting with the children, still.
Kind of like that. Would one have been easier than the other? Which one do you think is probably the correct way to draw that tree? You think this one is?
Mm-hmm.
I think we should go up from the older people. If you use, and that's why I use this one to say draw it, because I thought about making I do both of them. But the way I did it was A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Makes sense. Okay. On this one, these are my first 2. This is Alice and Brian, right? No.
No. Those are the 2 kids.
Hmm?
Those are the 2 kids, Gavin and Henry.
Yeah.
These are youngins. So these are the parents.
Those are parents.
I like this one because this starts with the
Parents.
and goes up.
Yeah.
And that's why I gave you the backward one, just see if you can figure it out. So here we have, of course, 2 males can't beget anybody. But here you have 2 females, 2 people, and they have a common share. And then these are their youngins. So this is Alice and Brian, C, Charlie, D, Donna, E, Ernest, F, Francine. And these 2, I don't know, I just said G and H. For, I think Gavin and Henry. If you did, I don't think going down it doesn't make any sense to me. Because if it's going to grow, in what direction would that chart grow?
Upwards.
I think I need to use this one right here, because it's going to grow naturally. Because the next one to get married would be one of these 2 dudes. Well, he might still get married, and she might get married. That'd make it, a whole new ballgame. But these squared off lines is how we do in science the cladograms. You'll see in a minute. But we use Venn diagrams to also make it work. So let me just go ahead and keep the show going. Right now, draw this. This is part of the PowerPoint, so make you a sketch on your paper of this little chart.
It's gonna be the one that we have to bring in.
That's teach you how to do the way you got to turn in. When you got to turn in is on that last page of that you copied. Or the other page. Turn it back. That's the one. So read the direction at the very bottom of it. Read the direction at the bottom of the first page. First page.
First place with X in the square.
That's the one with all the charts. No. Second page is second page.
Place the X in the square.
So you have them backwards. That's the second page you're looking at.
Right.
And
But I
that's,
just took this off because you said you just
oh,
want
yeah,
these
yeah.
two.
And that's got the pictures of the critters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're going to use that. Now at the very bottom, that tells you to do something with that.
With this one.
But I got to tell you how to do it first. I don't want to get the cart in front of the horse.
So I can
So
write.
right now, we're going to use this one to show you how to do the pink one. And these cladograms, like that family tree I showed you, you could arrange it different ways, right? The way I arrange is one way. You could swap things around and make it look a little different. You ain't gonna change who the kids are, but you might put two boys side by side and the girl on the end. That's all right. Okay. Have you got your little short copy? Because we're going to talk about starfish, frog, a monkey, a rodent, and a bird. I want to find out if a starfish comes from an egg, if a frog comes from an egg, if a monkey comes, if a starfish has a backbone. You're going to put an X if it has it. Nothing if it doesn't. So you have X's or nothing. So the next one, these are the critters we're going to be talking about. That rodent is a capybara. That's the biggest rodent in the world. I don't mean he's huge. That's the biggest rat I've ever seen. I wouldn't want one for a pet, but folks have them for pets.
Yeah.
All these I recognize as the chimp and the penguin and the starfish and the frog. But when I first saw him, I'm going, what kind of thing is that? I said, it's not a beaver, it's not. I said, capybara. And I'm going to show you some of them, capybaras. I went off tangent. Okay, those are the rodents I recognize. I see the squirrel, I see the little mouse, and there's the cute little turtle, and there's the beaver. This is a capybara. Look how big that sucker is. Now that's not, I first thought, that's a photographic trick. No, it's not. That's how big they really are. Who wants a rat that big in your lap?
That's scary.
I don't know if they're mean, because I bet if you want to bite you, you might take a chunk out of it. But I know nothing by except the fact that that's one way, that's a big critter. That's the biggest rodent in the world.
South America, right?
Yeah. Maybe Australia too. But when I saw this one, I thought, trick photography. And I saw some more, I went, nah, big animal. That's a big rodent. And then I saw, now I wanted to figure about, I thought about the bird. This is how big, the biggest penguin right there. That's a big rascal too. And look at that bird. The ostrich can stand 9 feet tall. He could, with his head here, this might be a 10-foot ceiling.
10, yeah. Well.
He might be just short of it. You sure can't pick this sucker up, take it to the vet though. You need a dog. 2 heads. And apparently it can tote a load because I found pictures of folks racing them, riding on like a camel. And I saw the Disney cartoons about the March of the Penguins, how cute they were. Emperor penguin, he could about tear you up if he wanted to. That's a big bird. Can't fly, but he can swim like he can fly. So now we get back to what I'm doing.
Was that penguin real or is it a statue?
Oh, I don't know if he's real or stuffed. It's a real bird.
Could just be a small man. Oh yeah.
I tried to find some more pictures, but I didn't find anything that shows.
No, I got more.
That's the best one I had. Of course, that guy might be 5 foot even, or he might be 6 foot or 7 foot. I don't know how tall the guy is. But that's that big bird. But he ain't the biggest bird. The biggest bird is that ostrich over there. I also want to try to find a picture of ostriches with their head in the sand. Do they really do that?
Yeah.
Or is that just,
No, they do that.
I couldn't find a single picture of it. Of them putting their head in the sand. I figured there's a line, he's gone down. I
Yeah.
don't see him, he's not there. Until you get eaten. But I looked, now I didn't do any research on, and usually where there's a saying like that, there's some type of, there's a hint of truth. I don't know how does he burrow his head in, does he find the hole, and I don't know. I mean, has the hole got to be there first before he sticks his head into it, or does he bow it? I mean, big as that bird, he probably carry you up though. I know a kangaroo can eviscerate you, they can have bound legs, they can rip your guts out.
See him boxing?
Oh, yeah. I ain't gonna box no kangaroo either. All right. I'm gonna get back now. I'm doing now. So, a little tangent, and I do that sometimes as I got my interest going. That starfish he's picked up does not have a backbone, does it? So I would not put X on that square. How about that monkey? Put X for him. How about the other critters?
Yeah.
Would you put X for all of them? Any of them not have a backbone? If they all have them, put X's down for all of them. So the starfish has no X, right? For them backbone.
What a
I
frog.
can't read on that.
Oh, the frog got a backbone.
Yeah.
Now, of those critters, do all of them develop from eggs or not?
No,
Frog,
not all.
Frog.
bird.
I don't mean like an egg and a shell. I mean, I come from an egg, but ain't no shell. Do they all come from eggs?
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Put all the X's down. They all come from eggs.
I've never seen a starfish egg.
Huh? Oh, what egg?
A starfish egg?
You ain't seen a starfish up close then. You see how they gotta reproduce somehow. Gotta be eggs. Now I know you tear one in half, it'll go missing parts back and where you had one, now you got two. Because all the parts are, I mean, if I rip my arm off, this bone ain't gonna make those two. But if this is all the same stuff, I can get them all back. And starfish, I know from the fact that folks who lived in Florida, they used to, starfish have a habit of, when they kind of crawl around, they don't change their shape, they kind of crawl around, but they will move up to an oyster and get on top of it. They'll wrap around, and then they have a little suction, like a suction cup. They will suck the water out of their arms, and they'll suck, and then they'll very slowly pry that thing apart, which takes some power. Then they lower their stomach into the oyster. The stomach goes down, goes open, and then he dissolves the oyster, retracts the stomach, closes it, and goes to the next one. Well, if you make a living growing oysters, you don't like that. I mean, you're going to lose your house because you can't sell anything. So what they would do, they used to bring up a starfish and take the machete, cut it all up, and throw it back in the water. What's your problem?
Made
Now
5
you got- now you
starfish.
got a job. So now what they do, they put it up on the deck and they leave it there, and it dies, and boy, it stinks like rotten meat. Dies. They can then sell that to souvenir vendors. That can dye them colors, and folks like me go and buy them. Little starfish, and we buy it and take it home and put it on our wall. But starfish, they don't have a backbone, and their rays are so identical. Anyway, you cut it off, it'll go back to missing pieces because, like I said, there's no way that this bone will make these two bones, and these two make those 8 in my wrist. It won't happen. You can go back to your finger. That's the only thing we can generate because there's nothing beyond there to be made. So if you cut off your finger in half like a car door, it will go back to missing pieces. If you cut your finger off, then there's no way that this bone is going to grow 2 more bones outside of it. So the more advanced you are, the less you can repair. Starfish are very primitive. There ain't much to them, but they can repair pretty well. Now, of the ones you saw, I'm going back in time, which ones do you think are warm-blooded as opposed to cold-blooded?
Chimpanzee.
So you think, who's warm-blooded?
Chimpanzee.
Chimpanzee
You
and
put X by chimpanzee for warm-blooded. Who else you think is warm-blooded besides chimpanzee?
The penguin and the rodent.
The penguin, all birds are warm-blooded. And the rodent, being a mammal, is warm-blooded.
What about the frog? I don't know.
Frog is cold-blooded.
Cold-blooded?
Frog's cold-blooded. Those fish we saw last time?
It's amphibian though, right?
Oh, yeah, well, all amphibians are cold-blooded.
Okay.
Salamanders are cold-blooded.
Reptiles and amphibians.
Yeah, reptiles and amphibians are often grouped together. When you buy a book on taxonomy, and you want to look up snakes, you're going to find you have a handful of amphibians too in there. Amphibians have to go back to water to lay their eggs. But the reptile can lay his egg on land because he has a shell and he has a little piece of pond in that shell. And that's the amniotic shell. All amphibians have to return to the water because if you lay eggs on the side of a tree, they're going to dry. But a turtle or snake can lay their eggs any way they want to, and the fact that it has a shell, inside that shell is a little bit of water, and that thing can sit right there. Now some eggs, some snakes will not ever lay their eggs, they stay inside the snake. And inside the snake they hatch, and the babies crawl out. That's not really live birth, like a dog gives birth. But sometimes some snakes will lay their eggs and crawl away, and some snakes keep their eggs inside them, and inside them the eggs hatch. And then they expel the youngins and the shell too. Of course, the rodent, all of these are mammals. But he's a mammal too. This is not a mammal. Amphibian. This is it belongs to a phylum called Echinodermata. And it means spiny skin, because they won't hurt you, but they're not smooth like a catfish is. They're spiny in nature. Of the ones on that list, how many of them would you put an X down for having hair?
3.
3 of them? What 3 have hair?
The monkey, rodent, and the bird.
Bird ain't got hair.
Yes, they do.
Bird ain't got hair. Hair is not feathers. Hair is not
That's
feathers.
what I was thinking, okay.
No, hair is not feathers.
I was thinking it keeps them warm, so.
No, the feathers do that. Many of our jackets we wear have down inside them. Gowns have real fine feathers. Feathers are come from, it's expensive because you got to have a lot of birds to do it. All right. So we've seen that. We've seen the big old capybara. Still, I think I wouldn't have this up on my lap. There's the size of the birds. The biggest bird and the biggest penguin.
So that's not
ever.
hair?
Huh?
That's not considered hair?
No, it's not hair. That's feathers. Even he has feathers.
I mean, I see the feathers, but around his face, on the face.
It's all feathers. There's no hair on that anywhere. And no little eyebrows. It's just all total feathers. So-
Skinny neck. Should be.
So some have hair, some don't. The only one that has hair in this picture is Cheeto. All right, now, if he did this right, you have, so what you got? Now, the next step is to make a Venn diagram.
Ooh.
Now, you can write starfish, you can write frog, but I just used pictures. You can write cheetah, chimpanzee, you can write capybara, you can write rodent, you can write bird. That could be a bald eagle sitting there as good as a penguin. Okay.
What do I make my circles out of? The animals or the...
I'll show you. If you circle all the ones that were eggs, you would circle like that. Now, if you circle the ones with backbones too, then what would you circle? Now, if you went one step further and circled the ones that were warm-blooded, what would you add? There's the eggs, there's the backbone, and there's the warm-blooded. Now, if you're going to circle the ones that had hair, what circle would you add? So you go back here and do that. Now, you just made your Venn diagram. In other words, everything inside this circle comes from what? Eggs. And in this circle, everything in that circle has a backbone. And in this circle, they all are warm-blooded. And in this circle, they have hair. Now, I don't care if it has feathers. I don't know what it doesn't have. I'm not trying to list everything about them. I just know. Now, if you take this picture and make the Venn diagram, the cladogram, it's going to look like this. Everything above here has what? Everything above here has what? Everything above here, no.
Oh, warm blooded.
If you're above here, that's a cladogram.
Wait a second.
Kind of like a family tree. I got more to do for you. Okay.
Okay.
If you look at my picture, everything above this level, and then above this level, have backgrounds. And then above that level, and everything up here now is warm-blooded. And above this level, the only thing they got in common is they have hair. That is a cladogram. And you've probably seen them all your life and you know what they're called. It just shows you relationships. And basically, you do it based on what's above what. I'm backing up. Okay. So if you look at the picture here, everything above this line comes from eggs. Now, is this one and these any further related than that? No, as long as they have a common. Now, because it didn't have a backbone, so now everything above this level, including all these, if you're above this level, including these, they all have the backbone. I mean, you get above this level, these three, anything above this level is warm-blooded, and just these two above this level, not count that one now, just those two are the ones which have hair. And this is the Venn diagram. This is the cladogram. And it looks a lot like a family tree. But unlike a family tree, this thing here is showing you characteristics. You know, you can do this with baseball players, catchers and pitchers, and right-handed and left-handed, and like that. But I wouldn't, because some folks don't know baseball. It's hard to find an example that we all know. I can do one using football, but my wife wouldn't know what I'm talking about. I can do one using cars, and she wouldn't know what I'm talking about. So now she might do one using recipes, and I wouldn't know what she's talking about. So I try to find something that we are, and there's not many things we can all share together and know across the board. And I have books don't work, cities, folks don't know cities. But these things here, a lot of folks think darkies. They know what frogs look like. And the capybara is just one that I'm going to throw at you. So this is how I finished my PowerPoint. And this one I was making, it took me a while to make that. Which one? I thought that. The one like, oh, with the Venn? I used the Venn to make
I said it was just like this area. Like this.
Did you notice I put the ones with most in common at the bottom and moved up to the one least common? There's the order I use. And all my X's, get those on first. And I had like 4 of my X's, get those on the next. And I had like 3 X's, well, I get those on the next. And I had 2 X's, I get those on last. That's how I make the cladogram. Because you want to go from the most things shared to the least things shared. Because you can't go the other way. Let's go back.
So maybe you could post that PowerPoint
Remind
on.
me of that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Now, I want to go now and look at. I'm going to say this thing or not. If I didn't have any problem with it. Yeah, if I play with it, I didn't fix anything, I don't think.
You
I just
changed
said-
that
I just said
diagram
this
thing
is-
with the
Well, I did,
Ground
I won't say that.
And then
I'll
3
say-
vascular
Okay.
bundles. And then
Now, I'm going to go and find the actual picture
one of those is the,
that you're
this
working
one.
with today. Alright. This is another way of looking, and I don't particularly like it, at a table. And they're saying that everything above this line right here would be what?
Vertebrae.
Alright, that means all the now. When you get above this line, you leave the sharks behind, right? Now above this line, everything has a skeleton made of bones. Now you get above this line, you leave these two behind because above this line, everything has to have
4 limbs.
4 limbs. How about that bird? That 4 limbs?
Yes, because they.
2 wings? Yeah, the wings count. A lot of folks think, I don't see 4 legs. Well, the wings, they count, okay? And then you get above this line, and this is the amniotic egg, which means they don't have to go back and lay their eggs in the water anymore because they have their own little way of doing it. So when you get above this line, all these things don't. I know he lives in the water, but he crawls out to lay his eggs, and he goes back. So he don't lay his eggs in the water. So all these, and the amniotic egg is the egg that is self-contained. You may have a shell, you might not have a shell. We are amniotic. We don't have a shell like an egg, like chicken does. But we don't go back to lay our egg in the water. We have water inside us, and we actually have an artificial environment that we have. And even the eggshell, like chicken, that's artificial pond. They have their pond, but it's self-contained in their shell. That's a big advantage. That you ain't got to live near water anymore. You ever hear of a toady frog? They're not the same. There's no toady frog. There are toads and there are frogs. Did you know that?
Yeah, I
A
did.
lot of folks say, "Who's a toady frog?" Make a pit. What is that thing? It's either a toad or a frog. And do they give you warts or not? No, they don't give you warts. Warts caused by a virus. But then again, though, can they carry the virus that causes it?
Yeah.
Yes.
They could.
They themselves don't give you that wart. They carry a little critter called a virus who does. So, and around my house, hopping around the driveway, I see toads, that gray-looking critter. But now, if I go fishing in my pond, and I'll hear these croaking noises, and I ease it, and I'll see a frog. And I know one day I was fishing, and my fish hook wrapped around out in the water, back in the swamp area, and I was trying to get right at the base of the tree. I threw too hard, and it wrapped, and that's my $5 lure. I can break that line, so you do there. And I saw a beehive, and ooh, you gotta be careful of that. I don't knock that thing. That's one more, you know. And I eased up to it, and that lure had wrapped around, and it stuck into a piece of bark. And when I moved the bark, a frog jumped on my chest. I almost died. It just, bam! And I had 2 legs, because I probably fell out of a canoe if it scared me so bad. I wouldn't even think about a frog, I think about bees. I thought maybe bees that night. I'm allergic to bees. And that frog hit me there, and he was looking at me. You know. I took him off. Now, I know one thing though, you catch a frog, put hook through his mouth, bass love frogs.
Mm-hmm.
They love frogs. And you go to Walmart and buy a lot of lures, which look like frogs, and then when you pop them, it's like hind legs are kicking, it's like you're swimming. And man, you can fool a bass in a heartbeat. So I should have kept that frog. I know bigger lures catch bigger fish. And biggest I've caught my lake's been 8 pounds. I caught him 2 years ago. I ain't been fishing. I need to go fishing. But it's not quite right yet. So this is another way. I still like my little cross like goal post. But this works, and I know I'm leaving behind certain things now. So this is more like the write-up, and so I did now. I want you to fill in this with the X if he has it. Put nothing if he doesn't have it. Then I want you to, after you got your X's here, now you can put the words, or you can go home and cut them out and glue them on your paper, or what you want to do. I want this thing next time I see it. I don't want it today. A lot of folks, who have the computer knowledge, can cut and paste these things onto a piece of paper. You recall my other Venn diagram had actual critters? I can do that here if I so inclined. Or you can just write down the word. You know what? I put the words on here. Because a ray fin fish would be a bass or a brim or a crappie. That's a bony fish. And cartilage and the ray that killed the Steve guy that him in the chest with him. And those are cartilage. Matter of fact, fish are ichthyes. If you're cartilage fish, you're chondrichthyes. If you're bony, you're oste means bony. So so all your sharks and all your manta rays are in chondrichthyes. They have a skeleton, but not made of bone. They got ribs, not made of bone. So they have vertebrae. It's just that they're not bony vertebrae. So what you want to do here is, this is the categories, and this says vertebrae. Don't say anything about bone. So just write down the line, and you're going to find out when you get done, you have a bunch of X's. For example, for the monkey, have vertebrae? Yeah. Bony? Yeah. Have 4 limbs? Yeah. Have fur or hair? Yeah. Walk upright? Yeah. Walk on all fours? Yeah. Have the egg? Have the eggs in the shells? No. Can he fly? Yes. No. One time. And he falls out of a tree. But now when you get done with your X's like I did, then go back and make your Venn diagram by circling the things that have things in common. When you get that done, then make me the cladogram. And yours might not look like a tree, it'll be both of you right. And this cat can be skinned a lot of ways, and you get credit for it.
But that bird could have it.
Is this also this?
So what about bird? Good. Don't put that bird right here now.
I have a question.
Fire away.
Is it cladogram or cladogram? Because you got 2 different words. On at the top, you got cladogram.
It's clay.
I said at the bottom.
Oh,
you got
I'm sorry.
cladogram.
Yeah. Let me change that. It's clay.
Okay.
Cladogram. Anywhere else you see that? No, right here it's spelled right. See, it's such a even the computer doesn't recognize it. They think it should be cardiogram. But it really is clay, not clad. Cladograms. And if you go on the internet and you do YouTube, you'll find all kinds of things about them doing it for you, showing you how to do it. And with that being now, over here now, this is what I want you to learn about. This dude is famous, but his name is spelled several different. The last name is always spelled the same way.
Right.
But the first name has all kinds of. I don't care about that. But I want to know the name of the guy, and it's in your book. I found it myself. It's in your book. This stuff here, all this stuff is in your book. This is not.
Right.
You got to take this word, type it in Google, find out what that thing is, and write down here what. Now I don't care if you take a picture or not. And most times, if I say bat, you know what a bat is, But so your assignment you give me next time I see you is this thing filled in, a Venn, a cladogram, this thing filled in. So actually you're giving me one piece of paper. These two can probably make it on one piece of paper, like mine. So I get one piece of paper, two pieces of paper, and that sheet, and you fill it. And that's it. So the lab actually starts now, so the research begins. And I'll put on grades as soon as probably tomorrow, I'll take it. I work best on Friday.
Where do you